You okay?
I'll be okay. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You're always okay. I have been dreading making this video. I have a pit in my stomach. But here we are. Kyle had an MRI on Monday of his brain. He gets them every 3 months to check what the tumor in his brain is doing. We were going into it hopeful that the tumor was at least stable or showing some signs of shrinking. And unfortunately, that is just not the case. The tumor shows progression. It was beginning to show in the last scan in March. There was a new enhancement within the tumor in March, reading 9 by 8 millimeters, and that enhancement within 3 months went from 9 by 8 millimeters to 21 by 21 millimeters, which may not seem like a lot because it's millimeters, but it's a lot in the grand scheme of cancer and how quickly and in your brain. We got the report on Monday while Kyle was getting acupuncture, and we opened it so that we could tell his Chinese medicine doctor what was going on so he can really target his treatment. And I was checking his patient portal before we left just to see if it was there, and it showed up. And every time a new lab report, specifically an MRI, comes through in his portal, it's like all of a sudden my whole body heats up and I feel all the fear, even though I haven't opened the report. But then opening it and seeing the numbers reading such a big change, it's just really hard to read.
I'm not worried about it at all. At all. Trust me.
And I love that about you. And I'm so grateful that you're so hopeful. And I try with everything to sit in that hope with you, but also there's fear and there's worry that comes up, and I feel like I also have to honor that so that that emotion can pass.
Yeah. Honor it.
Yeah. The Chinese medicine doctor looked at the report, and it's hard because you're not seeing an actual image and the difference, and you're just reading what someone else is observing. He didn't seem overly concerned. He didn't seem thrilled by reading that, but also like was reminding us that it really was going to be okay, and that he's going to really target herbs to help with the tumor, along with building his blood counts and all these things. And it just feels like the week has been like piling on us of like unfortunate things, because we get this report, we don't see the oncologist until Wednesday, so we kind of have to wait to like really see the actual images. And then on Tuesday, Kyle goes to get like his annual skin check, and we find out that he has
basal cell carcinoma?
a little skin cancer cell on his nose. So he has to get that removed. Thankfully, she's like, it is nothing to lose sleep over. Like, it has no correlation to like the fact that you have brain cancer. It has every correlation to the fact that you live in Colorado, where it is very sunny. And that is reassuring, but it just felt like, okay, another hit. No?
No.
You don't feel that way?
I don't feel that way. I mean, just another thing we gotta do.
I just feel like there's constantly like these big bumps.
You know what, you're a caregiver, and so it's harder for you. All I can do is sit back and relax, and it's easy for me. I've had this thing for almost 20 years, so I'm used to it. I mean, I'm used to being in the hospital. I'm used to being so weak I couldn't lift my arm. That's not true. I'm used to being so weak I couldn't lift much.
But like, I hate that you're used to that and that you've normalized that.
But if I didn't normalize it, I've been that way since the beginning.
I know, but you've just like accepted it, and I hate that you've had to accept that.
I haven't accepted it.
You have accepted that that is the reality that you're in. That's how I'm perceiving what you're saying. You've accepted it and you just move through it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that makes me so sad that you've had to accept it, that you've even been dealt the cards to have to accept it.
Yeah.
Because you're like the kindest, gentlest soul, and you just don't deserve to have cancer.
Have you
And for it to keep coming back.
Have you known anyone that's like a bad person that has cancer?
Well, they say that people who are people pleasers forget to put themselves first, and then that weakens their immune system, so their body struggles to fight off cancer cells when they form, so that they never become a tumor. So it does make sense that kind people get it more often because they give so much of themselves and forget that like they have to take care of themselves.
Yeah. I just figured it was like maybe they were needed somewhere else.
You think you're needed somewhere else?
Possibly when I'm 99.
Where else could you be needed?
I have no idea. Somewhere in the ether.
As I do when we don't get ideal news, I just try to get as many questions answered and ask as many questions. So yesterday, the integrative oncologist we work with was able to get on a phone call with us and kind of talk through what she would recommend that we do moving forward. And the conversation with the integrative oncologist was very encouraging. She's like, this isn't something we sleep on. We need to move fast and we need to think outside of the box, which is something that we've known. And it was very reaffirming that we need to get other eyes, because Kyle has worked with his oncologist for almost 20 years. And so his eyes on this case are not new. They're not fresh. And his specialty is not brain. It is just general oncology. I mean, he does have a neuro-oncologist on his team, but we don't see her as often. So it's put a fire under our butts that the next few weeks and months are going to be probably fairly intense of traveling to get second, third, fourth, fifth opinions. The potential of going to California and trying a treatment called CAR T cell therapy, which is where this is my layman's understanding, is they take your blood and then they take the like T cells out of that and then infuse it with something that which is like a specific enzyme that targets the cancer cells, so that your body is then going in to use those cells, these new cells that they're putting back into you, to kill off the cancer cells.
That was layman's terms? That was pretty informative.
So I've made a call to the clinic in California to see about if Kyle's eligible and get the ball rolling. We're also looking into potentially going to a clinic in Texas, one in Arizona, so that we can get as many eyes and opinions on his case that are new and fresh. There's also potential of going to another country. There's research coming out on using vaccines to target the tumors, specifically for brain cancer, but they aren't available in the US beyond trials, and Kyle isn't eligible for any trials because of this being his second recurrence. His specific case, the further you are in your journey with cancer, the less eligible you are for treatments, which is just horrible.
Yeah.
So it limits a lot of what is available. So we saw his oncologist today. We saw the scan. There's definitely new enhancement.
It's tiny. It's tiny.
Tiny.
Oh, it's brain.
It's like that big.
Yeah.
It's fairly large. It was like that big before. We're kind of waiting on him to have some conversations with other people so that he can kind of figure out what we can do until we can get in to see other doctors to kind of hopefully keep things stable if we can. But Kyle will likely get MRIs much more often than every 3 months because so much growth happened in such a short amount of time. His white blood cell counts also are a little lower today, beyond the healthy range.
The doctor said that it's cool. He said it's cool.
Yeah, but I don't want to see it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it means your body's struggling to produce white
Yeah.
blood cells, which is not a good sign. I mean, it's not great,
But it's not great.
and it's not awful, but it's far from ideal.
Yes, it's far from ideal.
We want your body to be running as optimally as possible so that it can heal the cancer. That's my perspective.
It's great perspective.
And if you're struggling to produce white blood cells that help fight off infections and illness, then they're struggling to fight off the cancer, is my assumption. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we have answers, but also everything is up in the air at this moment. What does treatment look like? Because obviously the IDH mutation inhibitor, Tipsovo, which Kyle's taking, is not working because the tumor is growing on it. So we have to change the course of treatment. But what is available with the providers that we have here in Colorado are limited. We need to go see people who they're working with the most aggressive, hardest to treat brain cancers every single day. And that's just not the team that we have built here or the team that is available to us. So we have to go find it. Right now we're waiting in limbo for like Kyle's oncologist here to have conversations with his neuro-oncologist, and then waiting for his integrative oncologist who's based in Arizona to give us recommendations for the best doctors that she believes would be the best fit for his specific case. So we're in limbo at the moment. I think the irony of all of this is that this week we decided we are going to start doing Joe Dispenza meditation so that we can heal this tumor. The irony is that I think we've needed it. I've needed it because it's helped so much with my anxiety. We found this news on Monday. Yesterday, I honestly felt great. Like, I was like, it is really, truly going to be okay. This meditation's really helped me just be like, it's a bump, and this is propelling us to find the treatment that really will work. I just felt like yesterday, even though the day before we got all of this hard news, and even yesterday finding out Kyle has a basal cell carcinoma and he has to get that removed and another procedure along with the cataracts, I felt light. And even this morning I felt a little light, but I don't know, every time we go into his oncologist, it's like my stomach sinks, and today I feel like I'm feeling the weight of it. So
Don't feel that way.
yeah, grateful for meditation and that work coming to us at like truly the exact right time. And it's just a like reminder that things find you when you need them, and pushing me to fully commit to showing up to it so that we could see if that helps Kyle in healing and helps me show up as a better caregiver and partner on this path.
You're doing a great job. Being a caregiver and a partner is no easy feat. Just take some time off.
I love you.
I love you.
This journey is a wild one.
Did you ever think it wasn't gonna be?
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anyone with cancer before I met you. Here we are. Wasn't the news we were hoping for, but it's the news that we have.
As soon as we have.
So keep us in your thoughts. Whatever you do to hold people in your heart, we gladly accept it and feel it and are endlessly grateful for it. So grateful for this community supporting us through the ups and the downs. And one day we will celebrate Kyle being cancer-free. It's just not today. And it's not tomorrow. But it will be.
Yes, it will be.